Hello there. Now we are going to define the second half of the terms from the Early American Literature unit. You will find these slides in your Schoology folder, and you can open them up as slides and then just jot down what you need as we go through them. A murmur can be a noun or a verb. As a noun, it is a soft, indistinct sound. He could hear the murmur of the child in the corner. It's a soft, indistinct sound, and when you perform the action of it, that is the verb form. So to say in a loud voice, in a low voice, Maggie murmured an excuse and hurried away. To mutter is a barely utterable or a barely audible utterance. As a noun form, a mutter, a barely audible utterance. It's very close to murmur. I would say the only difference between murmur and mutter is that mutter has a slightly negative connotation. Usually it's the same definition as we have for murmur, to say in a low voice, but it often occurs with dissatisfaction, especially in dissatisfaction or in imitation of something. He muttered under his breath after he received the detention slip. Omnipotent. Omni means all. Potent means power. And so you put it all together as an adjective, and omnipotent means almighty, all powerful. Think of an oppressor as a tyrant, someone who treats another person in an unfair way, someone who holds someone back. One who oppresses another, one who holds another back or down, stopping them from accomplishing something. Perilous is a great synonym for dangerous, and prosperous is a great synonym for success, something that is bringing wealth. They were looking, actually Bradford says something about them looking for a prosperous wind. Not that it was going to bring them money, but one that was going to hasten their arrival in the new world. Something that was going to bring success. We wish you a prosperous new year, right? Posterity is the future generation of people. Future generations. The victims' names have been recorded for all posterity, for all the future. And providence is considered the protective care of God. Everything that happens in Plymouth Plantation is attributed to providence, the protective care of our Lord or of nature. But in our case with this literature unit, it's mostly, it deals with God. Their trust in divine providence was a source of great comfort. To provoke someone is to egg them on, to incite them into action, to stimulate to a certain degree. Often it's negative. He was provoked into anger. The plan provoked outrage. If you're feeling queasy, as I'm sure some of the people on the boat, the Mayflower, felt, it means you're feeling nauseated. You're feeling ill. Queasy. Not 100%. To quell a riot is to put an end to. To quell someone's fears is to put an end to those fears, to silence them. If you're looking for amends, You're looking to, recompense. You're looking to make amends to someone who has lost something. To sort of make reparation. And they've lost something, or they've suffered harm. If you're seeking refuge, you're seeking a safe place, a safe haven. You know, you're looking for, if you're seeking refuge, you're seeking for a condition of being safe. You know, he took refuge in the basement during the tornado. To scoff at something is to scorn, to mock. I can use that as a verb, as we do right there, or I can say it as a noun form. It is an expression of mockery. An expression of scorn. Scurvy was a disease that afflicted some of the pilgrims on their journey to America while they were on the boat. It's a disease caused by the lack of vitamin C. Very often the symptoms would be, vitamin C, not vocab C. The symptoms would be swollen gums or bleeding gums, open wounds that don't heal. If I call a person scurvy as an adjective, that just means that the person is worthless. You know, they're contemptible. That was, or something, you know, it was a scurvy trick you played on us. To skulk, this is what Bradford says the natives are doing. To skulk is to move around in a sort of sneaky way. So to skulk is to keep out of sight in a sneaky way, in a sinister way. To smite someone, this is not a word we often hear anymore. It means to strike them, to hit them, to buffet them. Right? The Lord smote him with a terrible disease. He smites the water with his sword. So it's to strike with a firm blow, with a firm hit. A sovereign is a ruler, and when you want to use it as an adjective, and you talk about, his rule is sovereign over his people, it means that he possesses supreme power. When something is solemn, it's very serious, it's very formal, dignified. It's not a place for any shenanigans if it's solemn. If someone's been wounded and you need to stanch the blood, the flow of the blood, it means to stop or to restrict. And most of the time you use it with regard to blood and wounds. A tourniquet is a good way to stop or stanch the blood. The pilgrims often say, or at least Bradford says many times, that they were seeking succor. They were seeking comfort. They were seeking assistance. They were seeking support. And when they landed in America, there were no people there from whom they could seek succor. No inns, no hotels, no friends, nothing. There were sundry reasons as to why they came to America. There were several reasons, or manifold reasons, or diverse reasons. And it was very difficult for them to sustain their community that first winter. Sustain is to strengthen or to support physically or mentally. We can also use it, that would be one definition, The other definition of it as a verb is to undergo. So he sustained serious injuries in that accident, you could say, to undergo or suffer. And lastly, the word venomous will come up in Sinners in the Hands of an Angry God, when Edward says, "You are 10,000 times more abominable in God's eyes than the most venomous serpent is in ours, than the most poisonous, the most toxic, the most awful serpent is in ours." And there you have it. Those are the words that comprise the second half of the terms from the early American literature section.